So we cannot allow Lloyd Austin III to be confirmed as the defense secretary whatsoever. Joe Biden has picked all these people to be, members of his cabinet, all these right-wingers, he's got Neera Tannen, right? He's got Janet Yellen. He's got Anthony Blinken. Anthony? I don't even know if I could trust a person named Anthony. And he's got Lloyd Austin. So that's the Treasury Secretary, War Secretary, Secretary of State Secretary. He's also got Pete Buttigieg at Transportation, right? So, shit on Bernie Sanders, you'll become a part of the cabinet. Look at it, see, Jennifer Granholm, Tom Vilsack, Xavier Becerra, Marcia Fudge, Dennis McDonald. These are all the people, Avril Haines, the Director of National Intelligence. These are all the people that he has already selected. So we can see exactly what kind of, what kind of America, what kind of Joe Biden administration, what kind of leadership this country is going to be. Where is this country headed? Well, let's take a look at Lloyd Austin. Lloyd Austin, so this is the Defense Secretary, which is the War Czar. So the War Czar of America, this is the person that's going to be controlling the empire, right? All the bases, all the military, the Marines, the Army, the Navy, all the armed forces, the Air Force. Lloyd Austin III. Who is Lloyd Austin III? He's part of the machine. He's Raytheon. He's the reason why Yemen happened. He's part of the military. 2016, he's going to retire, and then immediately he gets employed by Raytheon, an armaments industry, weapons manufacturing company. And so he's making, millions of dollars, almost $1 million from Raytheon for the last 4 years. But there's a rule in America that says you can't become the defense secretary until you've been out of the military for 7 years, because the defense secretary has to be a civilian. So we need civilian control, right? So for civilian control, we can't have Lloyd Austin. He's not a civilian. He's only been out for 4 years. So Lloyd Austin III is not a civilian. He has to answer for what he did in Yemen when he was, the military leader or what have you, and when he was part of Raytheon. Raytheon went ahead and invested, and they did this, Saudi Arabian package deal. So people in Yemen are dying because of Raytheon. People in Yemen are dying because Raytheon made a deal with Saudi Arabia because of our United Nations veto. We side with Saudi Arabia. We allow this shit to happen. So there's a genocide that's going on in Yemen currently right now for fucking years. Starving, people are dying. And Lloyd Austin is to blame. Lloyd Austin was, a military man that ignored the threats, and then he's, part of Raytheon raking in, thousands of dollars, nearly $1.5 million with Raytheon as they're bombing the shit out of all these, poor Yemenis. So we cannot allow Lloyd Austin III to become the defense secretary. This is just who he's nominated, so will, the Senate confirm it? I hope not, because Lloyd Austin III, okay, so here's some background. He joined the board of Raytheon Technologies, military contractor, April 2016, following Raytheon's merger with United Technologies. As of October 2020, his Raytheon stock holdings were worth roughly $500,000, and his compensation, including stock, totaled $1.4 million. That means he's got paid nearly $1 million in cash, plus he's got $500,000 in stocks with Raytheon. He's got $1.5 million. So what a great pick by Raytheon, right? They got a man inside the White House, the defense secretary, the war czar, the person that controls the empire. We got 900 military bases in 150 countries, and this is going to be the man who runs it. Lloyd Austin III. Lloyd Austin III is also on Nucor's board of directors, Tenet Healthcare, and Guest Services. So he's on the board of lots of companies, right? These millionaires, this is how, some steel production company, okay, Nucor, that's okay. Tenet Healthcare, private healthcare, they own a bunch of hospitals. Guest Services Incorporated, that's hotels. So he's part of these companies, the hotel companies, the healthcare industry. It's part of the steel industry, part of the weapons manufacturing industry. And then Pine Island Capital. This is an investment company, which Anthony, remember that guy Anthony Blinken? So Anthony, good old Anthony, and can we trust a man named Anthony? I don't know. He's with Pine Island Capital too. So both, let's see, Michelle Flournoy, Anthony Blinken, and Lloyd Austin III, which is, you know, the nominee for the war czar. They got ties to Pine Island Capital Partners. This large investment firm raised millions of dollars for acquisitions in defense companies this year, according to the New York Times. So Pine Island Capital Partners are buying all these defense companies up. They're tied to it. They've got money invested in it. They have reasons. They cannot do their job. How can he do his job with Raytheon? Is it going to be, oh, hey, we're going to need, Lloyd Austin's Raytheon connection so we can hurry up and manufacture a bunch of missiles? We need to make sure Pine Island Capital Partners got a place at the table because, defense companies, people that monopolize and pull all the defense, they need to make money too. So he's on all these different companies, right? The biggest problem I got is Raytheon Technologies. He's not a civilian, so he's going against federal law. 7 years, you got to be out of the military. He's not a civilian, right? So, and then Yemen. Okay, so Yemen. Let's, what can we say about Yemen? There's a lot of things we can say about Yemen. Raytheon supplies air-to-ground munitions for Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen in 2019. Raytheon proceeded with an $8 billion arms sale to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, which included air-to-ground munitions. This is after congressional Democrats blocked the sale on human rights grounds, but the Trump administration didn't give a fuck. They declared a state of emergency and forced the sale through somehow. Raytheon manufactures the bomb components that are used in Yemen. Lloyd Austin III bears a direct responsibility. He's making money when he's a board member of this company that's directly responsible for the death and destruction in Yemen. Raytheon is deeply involved in controversial programs from unworkable missile defense projects to nuclear weapons, the new nuclear-armed cruise missile, to precision-guided bombs that have killed untold number of civilians in Saudi Arabia's brutal war in Yemen. Genocide in Yemen carries on. It carries on because of the military leaders such as Lloyd Austin. It carries on because of the weapons manufacturing companies such as Raytheon, which Lloyd Austin is a member of. Now, there was a letter in the beginning, so you have two representatives, Mark Pocan and Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is the only person that voted against the Iraq War in 2002. So talk about just absolute fantastic foresight. Barbara Lee voted the only no vote to the Iraq War. So Mark Pocan, Barbara Lee, last month, they're progressives, right? They sent President-elect Joe Biden a letter requesting that he commit to nominating a Secretary of Defense who has no previous ties to weapons manufacturers. So Mark Pocan, Barbara Lee, they even cited Donald Trump's defense secretary, Mark Esper. Donald Trump went ahead and picked the the armaments industry. Mark Esper, he's a former lobbyist for Raytheon. So Donald Trump had already employed a Raytheon. Raytheon already had a place in the White House. And so Mark Pocan and Barbara Lee said, be different than Donald Trump. Be different than Mark Esper. Let's get a defense secretary that, has no prior employment history with a defense contractor. They are paying him millions of dollars. Why would he ever do anything that would hurt the business model of Raytheon? Is that what we're in war for? To make sure Raytheon is, making bucks, make sure they're, banking? It's also been reported that Lloyd Austin III refers to himself in the third person. Just because he's the third doesn't mean that he has to refer to himself in the third person. And that's, not a crime, but that's a little weird, right? Oh, Lloyd Austin, he is just an outstanding man. You're talking about yourself? Yep. Yes, I am. He is just, God, he is such a good man. Why don't you say I? I can't. Their argument. So what is Joe Biden going to say? Well, he's a great man, great military decorated general, is a superhero, right? golly, so they said, let's see, Joe Biden had said that Lloyd Austin played a crucial role in bringing 150,000 American troops home from the Iraqi theater of war. So we got the combat troops out that, out of Iraq, but we're still there, right? We still got the embassy, we still got counterterrorism, and we're still occupying Iraq, right? We could bomb Soleimani, so I guess, Iraq is in our domain. The airspace above Iraq is American airspace. So 2010, let's see, General Lloyd Austin was the head of the U.S. forces in Iraq. He got to know Vice President Joe Biden. Lloyd Austin had already become friendly with his son, Beau. They regularly attended Catholic services together in Iraq, where Beau Biden was deployed. So Joe Biden was very much impressed with Lloyd Austin's unflappability. He's just an unflappable person. What an unflappable person. So I guess he's just strong, stout, resolute. I guess that's what Joe liked the most. And there's a crowd in Washington where they just want, war with China, push up against China. China's a threat. Lloyd Austin is a counterpoint to the China is a threat crowd. So that's going to hurt one of the larger defense budgets, less reliance on diplomacy, greater willingness. So he's against all these things, right? So by having Lloyd Austin in there, this is what the Biden administration is saying, that you're going to have, better diplomacy, less willingness to use force, and you won't have to spend as much money to, fight this China is a huge threat crowd. So that's going to be, Joe Biden's, he's a little bit better. He's a little bit, still Raytheon, still going to carry out all the wars. What about Yemen? So Lloyd Austin III's got to answer for Yemen. He's got to answer for Raytheon, and he's got to, he's not a civilian. So those are the three main reasons. I'm not for sure if Austin hears, if Lloyd Austin III would say that he's not just going to just recuse himself from Raytheon. I don't know if they got to quit their job or what have you, but if he somehow severs his ties, that would make me feel a lot better. But if he's still getting paid by Raytheon and by the American people, that's just, talk about it obvious. That's just too big of an obvious, I think no for, all the reasons that I've stated, and if, that would make it a little bit better. I'd still probably vote no anyways, but if he would sever the ties with Raytheon, Jesus Christ, I mean, he's made $1 million in the last 4 years. It'd be hard to, turn that gravy train off, right? Turn that nice little waterfall of cash just pouring into your lap. I mean, what does Lloyd Austin III give a shit about the Yemeni people? He's made $1 million off of their death and suffering and bloodshed. So he hasn't been out of the military long enough. He's only been out 4 years, and he was part of Raytheon the entire 4 years. So he's basically, all about war, war, war. Everywhere you go, kill, 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 war, war, war. And, terrible choice, terrible choice. So we need to, if Nancy Pelosi doesn't stop Lloyd Austin III, we should just not vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. We do not need a Lloyd Austin III to be the defense secretary. My God, get a peacenik in there. Get a dove. Get a dove to be the defense secretary. I'll trust a dove. I trust Bernie, not Joe. Joe voted for the Iraq war. What the fuck does Joe know about the damn wars? Fucking prick, voted for the damn wars, gets all these people out there, becomes friends with them, and then we're supposed to trust his judgment on this shit? So, America, do not confirm Lloyd Austin III as defense secretary. Thank you. Peace.